Hopefully y'all can hear me all right. I know yesterday we had some technical difficulties with the microphone, but I think we back golden today. So what it do, y'all? Welcome to the stream. We got something real special lined up for today. My bad, it took me a second to get into the stream. But we got something real special lined up today. If you ever thought about starting your own business, right? Or if you're in the early stages of getting a business off the ground, then tonight's stream is just for you. It's just for you. If you're new to the channel, my name is CloudyWingz. That's CloudyWingz. I have been a business owner for well over a decade. I started my first business when I was 21. So I know a little bit of something about owning a business, right? I also do all kinds of other stuff. I also do YouTube. Same name on YouTube, CloudyWingz. Go ahead and check it out. Hit that subscribe button. On YouTube, it's a little bit different. I do. I'm so immature. But I do lifestyle vlogs on YouTube, so it's a little bit different, But I also do motivational topics on YouTube Shorts. So if you're ever in the mood for that as well, go ahead and subscribe, and I got something for everybody. Today we are talking about, and I'm real excited about today's topic because I know this like pretty much the back of my hand. I done did it 9, 10 times, maybe even more, maybe give or take, 9, 10 times, 9, 10 businesses. Some failed, some were very successful. I sold a business in 2018. So yeah, I got a little bit of experience, and we're talking about how to start a business, the best way to go about starting a business, and what exactly you need to get started, right? Whether you're a complete and total beginner, you don't know fuck about nothing that has to do with starting a business, or you're just looking to improve your entrepreneurial skills, I got you covered for sure. You know what I'm saying? Big Claddy got you covered, dog. You know what I'm saying? Talking back. Yeah. So I just want to say before we dive in, feel free to drop any questions in the chat at any point, no matter what it is, whether it's about business planning, business finances, marketing, or anything else really. And I'll try to answer as many questions as I can throughout the stream. And I'll also try to get like some extra time at the end for like a little Q&A session, a little question and answer type vibe. You know what I mean? So I guess we'll start with the first topic that has to do with owning a business. So I guess the first topic we should start on would be the basics, right? You know what I'm saying? Without the basics, you really don't know. You can't really know nothing else. You can't even really get to the next shit. You know what I mean? So we'll start with the basics. So a lot of people think that starting a business is all about having a good product or a cool idea. And while that's definitely a part of it, there's a lot more to it. Like you really need to think about a few key components before you even start making sales or offering services. These key components that I'm talking about will literally be the foundation that will set you up for like long-term success, where you start big dog balling off your business, or you build it up to the point where you can sell it, and then you start big dog balling. You know what I'm saying? So the basics are always first and foremost the most important. So I would have to say the very first step in the basics would be, there's a few that might be first, but I think overall, the very first thing in starting a business is having a solid idea. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have a solid idea, right? But not just, you can't really just put together any idea, but a viable idea. And what I mean by viable is like, okay, think about it like this. Will people actually pay for what you're offering? Do anybody even want it? Like, whatever you got to offer, does anybody even want the shit? Or do they just need it? Are there already a lot of businesses out there doing the same thing? What solution will your business solve for the consumer, right? Um, when I was younger, I was always told by other business owners, older business owners, people who knew the game before I ever stepped foot in it, that when you're in the business of life, you winning, right? When we think about life, what are the necessities of life, right? Something that is always going to happen in life is death. If you're in the business of death, you're probably always going to be in business unless you pull some fuck shit. If you in the business of babies, you're most likely going to be in business for a long time unless you pull some fuck shit. If you in the business of transportation, because people always need transportation, right? If you're in the business of transportation, you're probably going to be in business for a long time, right? And there's a few other ones on that list, but these are really good places to start. And then I would start looking at, I don't know what type of business, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's something you're trying to invent, whether it's an app, whether it's you're just trying to better something that somebody already did. Um, you know, you want to kind of look at the market and see, are there a lot of businesses out there doing the same exact thing, and how could you do it differently, right? Sometimes, sometimes your idea, it'll need like a little tweaking. You know what I'm saying? Like a little refining, a little fixing, right? For example, let's say you want to start a T-shirt company. That's a good idea, right? Uh, but I, but a lot of people are doing it nowadays, right? And then a lot of people don't know when they get into clothing, because I one of the businesses that I did own was a accessories kiosk in the middle of a mall years ago, like well over a decade ago. I think it was my very first business. Actually, was a kiosk in the middle of the mall. I sold accessories. When I'm talking about accessories, I'm talking about wallets, watches, purses, handbags, sunglasses, just all accessories you could think of. Right, my whole kiosk was full of accessories. Even sold perfume and cologne. Um, and after 6 months, I turned that into I stacked and I built, stacked and built, stacked and built. Um, and not only just built the business, but I also built repertoire with manufacturers, with people who made the clothing. I'm not going to go into the specifics of how I did that and how I actually made that happen. But having connections overseas played a big part in that. But 6 months, I turned that kiosk into a clothing store, a storefront, brick and mortar. It was inside a mall, so technically it wasn't brick and mortar, but it was inside a mall, so it was an actual storefront. Um, and with that being said, what people don't understand about starting a clothing business is that it's a lot. If you want to take it to the next level, like, it's cool to, like, got your little local thing going on, whatever, wooty wop. But if you want to take it to the next level, um, I would start thinking big. I would start thinking about runways. I would start thinking about catalogs. I would start thinking about, the big dog shit, models. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you want your product presented to the consumer? You know what I mean? And that specific thing right there is something that you have to think about when you're dealing with products, period. Services, not so much. But products, most definitely. Like, you still do with services, right? Because obviously you want to make your consumer happy, and you want it to be presentable, yada, 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 great customer service, yada, 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 right? And the thing about customer service is today, they have these things called virtual assistants. So it's easy to get customer service nowadays. You know, you can have a robot answer the phone for you nowadays. It's nothing. But regardless of all that, if you're starting a clothing or t-shirt company, what makes your t-shirts different? What makes your clothing different, right? Are you offering custom designs? Is it eco-friendly? Like materials? Like, is the process to make the materials, you don't use it's not made with like machines that use oil or, you know, toxic materials, or maybe it's a subscription type of vibe. Like, so having a unique selling proposition, or USP, you know, for the professionals who know what that means, can really kind of set you apart from the rest of the people in your industry. You know, and without that, you probably won't, unless you're playing the copycat vibe, like you just want to copy the same business model, same everything as a whole already existing company, which you won't get much respect in the industry. I don't give a fuck what industry it is. You won't get much respect from the rest of the industry if you pull that, you know. But yeah, at least put your own twist on it. But once you have your idea, right? Once you have your idea, I would say, what's the next step? The next step would be, for me, for starting a business, would be market research. Market research, and this is something that's often like people either forget about or they overlook it, but it's real life critical. You know what I mean? When you because you need to understand your target audience. That's one of the most important parts about trying to grab consumers and you know, get a wave into your ocean. You dig what I'm saying? um, it's very critical. Understanding your audience, which is your customer, right? Who they are. Okay, what do they like? What do they like? Not what are they like, but what do they like, right? What are the specifics that they like or enjoy, or whatever the case, about certain things, whether it's a service, whether it's your clothes, whatever. Who are they, right? What are their what are their pain points? What are their pain points? What are they spending money on right now? Like, what's got their attention for them to be like, damn, you know what? Maybe I do need this. Even though it's something that they may want, you may not be selling something that everyone needs, right? You may not be selling toilet paper. You may not be selling water. You know what I'm saying? But make them feel like they need it. That's most important, especially when it comes to advertising, right? Especially when it comes to advertising. The best things about advertising, or the key points about advertising, is you want to make them feel like they need it. You want to pull on their heartstrings. Maybe even want to make them laugh. You know, things like that. Advertising, we'll get into that here soon. But so target demographics is important. So, for example, if you're launching, let's say, an app for fitness, are you targeting gym enthusiasts? Right? Are you targeting casual exercisers? Right? What age group are all these people in? What's their income level? Can they even afford your service? Right? So the more specific you get, the better you'll. So the more specific you get, the better you'll be able to like tailor your products or services to their needs, if that makes sense. You can use surveys. You can use social media. You can even browse forums type shit, like online, like Reddit, you know, shit like that, and kind of learn more about potential customers in that whatever vibe you got going on. Which is probably one of the smartest things to do as a business owner. A lot of people don't even take those steps. They don't, and then the business fails, and they're like, "What the hell?" You know. One reason I was able to scale my first business, because when I started my first business, I had one foot in the streets and one foot in the corporate world. You know, so I was trying to maneuver both things at the same time, which was not very smart, right? But one reason I was able to scale it up into a clothing store was because I understood what the streets wanted when it came to clothes at that point in time, right? Because I was in the streets, word of mouth. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what the dope boys are wearing. I'm seeing what all the street cats are wearing. All the, you know, all the ratchet hood chicks, all the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at what these people wearing. So I'm like, if I open a clothing store in one of the biggest malls in the city, you know, one thing I did do was get the mall on the opposite side of town, so I didn't have to worry about no OPPs. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. You know, I did my research by just being in it. You know, and it worked, kinda. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, you know, the streets kind of took a hold of me. I was young and dumb at that point in my life, but that's a whole nother story. Now, let's talk about what would be the next thing to talk about. Besides learning more about your potential customers and, you know, doing your research on whatever industry you're in, I think we should talk about the things you need to actually start a business. You know, because these things are essential. Give me 1 second. These things are essential to starting a business, right? These are like the building blocks. If you get what I'm saying, they're like the building blocks of starting a business. But before I get into that, give me 1 second. Let's take a quick break. You already know how I get down. Um, Go ahead and grab your favorite snacks. Cause if you a hustler, you a grinder, you gonna want to hear this. Go ahead and grab your favorite snacks. I'll be back in literally less than 1 minute. Less than 1 minute. Go ahead and look at your timer if you need to. No kizzy cali cap. You know what I'm talking about. 1 minuto. I'll be back. Testing, testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing, 1, 2. And we are back. Just like that. I told y'all less than a minute. Now, so I'm trying to think where I was at earlier. The things you actually need to start a business, right? The things you actually need to start a business. Um, yeah, the building blocks. The building blocks of starting a business. This is where it starts getting good, and hopefully you're taking notes. Hopefully, you know, if you are in the process of doing something like this, um, you're taking it seriously. You know, because to be honest with you, when I first started my first business, I didn't really take it seriously. Put a lot of money into it, put a little bit of time into it, spent a lot of time doing it, but I didn't really take it that seriously, right? Um, so first up, we have a business plan. Yeah, a business plan. Now, don't start tripping when you hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you hear a business plan, it doesn't, like, it ain't got to be super formal, If that makes sense, it's basically like your roadmap. It's a roadmap that includes things like what's your mission, what are your goals with the company, what's your budget, and what's your revenue model. Like, where do you want to get to? You know, um, with that being said, that's something that you can keep simple. You don't have to make an intricate business plan to start a business. You can keep it simple. But just having this roadmap will kind of give you clarity on what you're doing and how you're gonna do it. A lot of businesses fail because they never kind of take the time to think through everything, to think through their goals or how they're gonna make money. Like, your plan though doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to have direction. You do need to have like a clear vision on where you want to take the company, where you want to go with it, what your next steps are, yada 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 yada, and also what your goals are. Because how can you judge, your success without goals? You know, um, the next, I would say, the next big step is setting up your business legally, right? And that's a huge step, actually. You know, because you'll kind of need to decide what kind of business structure you're gonna have. Are you gonna be a sole proprietor? Are you gonna be a partnership? Are you gonna be an LLC? Are you gonna be a corporation? Whether it's C corp, S corp, whatever, right? Every structure that I just named, they have different implications for taxes, liabilities, and how much paperwork you're gonna have to file, especially during taxes. Um, but I would say most people on their first business, they start as an LLC because it gives you personal liability protection, meaning that if somebody sues you or whatever the hell, you're not personally liable for it. Um, and it's also easy to set up, pretty damn easy. Like, they have different websites out there that'll do everything for you, or you can walk. Most cities have it downtown. You can walk city hall, whatever the hell, and set up your LLC that way. Um, you'll also need to register your business with the government. You'll also need to get an EIN, which is an employer identification number. Um, and depending on what kind of business you're opening, you might need to get any business licenses or business permits. But that depends on like where you're opening up the business and what kind of business it is. Um, but if you have a lawyer, I would suggest if I would suggest either or a lawyer or an accountant or both, right? They can kind of help you with this part if you're feeling lost. But one thing an accountant is really, really good for and life saving is taxes. Let me tell you something about taxes. You think going down to Liberty Tax or wherever the hell you get your taxes done is a pain in the ass? Imagine tracking all that shit yourself. Every receipt, every income, every loss, right? Every profit. I shouldn't say income, but every profit. Because income and profit are two different things. Um, right? Imagine doing all that yourself. Like, that's why an accountant is like life saving to have. So if I was you, I would find a really simple, really cheap accountant that can kind of you know um, keep your books and file your taxes. File taxes on your behalf and file any other paperwork you need to file. There's also a few other things or people that either could come with your when you set up your LLC or whatever, have your structure that we'll talk about later. But yeah, so the paperwork that you'll need to file, depending on how you're gonna set up your structure, can get real crazy. But like I said, most people offer an LLC, and like I said, I definitely recommend, if not a lawyer, an accountant or both. All right, so I guess the next topic on owning a business or starting a business, should I say, is another very important aspect, and shit, the paper. You know what I'm saying? The money, the papel moneda. You know what I'm saying? The dinero. You know what I'm saying? You know, turn back. So, like, let's face it, starting a business usually requires some form of investment in order to start it, right? But where does that money come from? That's the question. That's the big question. Um, so, there's a few ways that you can fund your business in the beginning. You got, for some people, it could be personal savings from wherever they got their personal savings from. Don't know. Um, it could be taking out a business loan. They have a lot of programs for businesses, like new businesses, small businesses, all kinds of different, loans, grants, things like that. The next one being getting investors, and those investors could just be your family. They say don't mix business with family, but um, if the only thing your family is involved in is being investors in your company and not actually partners in the company or anything like that, then I say it's alright. You know, like if you got like family members with money, like hey, bro, like shit, holla at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, come an investment. I'll give you back this much amount. It'll be an investment for you. You'll get point whoop 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 on your investment, or you'll get stocks or whatever the hell. You know, right? You can offer them up something that actually makes it worth their while. Or if you can't find family investors, you could easily do this thing called crowdfunding. I did that one time. Didn't really go that good for me, but if you have the right idea, it's very possible to literally fund every aspect of your company from crowdfunding. And there's different websites online that have to do with crowdfunding. They can set up little crowdfunding things for you. And crowdfunding is kind of like a fundraiser, or like a what's that shit on Facebook? But like GoFundMe type of vibe. It's like a GoFundMe type of vibe, but for your business. Like, if you rock with my business plan and you believe in my business, come fund a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's basically what crowdfunding is. Um, but each option has its pros and its cons. You know, like its goods and its bads. For example, personal savings might be low risk, but it could limit how much you can invest depending on how much you have to invest, how much you can afford personally to invest. Um, Loans might give you more cash, yeah, but you'll be responsible for paying them back. And if your company fails or some shit, then, or if you like take a big ass loan out and you think you can go ball out, like go buy a new crib, go buy a bunch of cars, nigga, you going to jail. You going straight to the can, bro. You know what I'm saying? You going straight to the feds, my boy. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, man. So you got to think about shit like that. Also, um, loans do come with interest. You know, so you do not only do you have to pay back what you obviously, I don't know. Well, I ain't gonna say obviously because some people don't know this, but with a loan, not only do you have to pay back what you borrowed, but you also have to pay back interest on what you borrowed. And some places have crazy, ridiculous, life changing interest amounts. You know what I'm saying? And if we're talking about crowdfunding, it's it's pretty cool if your product, only if crowdfunding is cool only if your product has a lot of appeal, like people actually fuck with it. And not even just your product, but your business. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you're trying to get into. But it can also be like a hit or miss. You know, and last time I did it, I missed it. I was like, I'm never gonna do crowdfunding again. Fuck that shit. Like I'm basically begging for motherfucking paper for somebody to invest in something. Like fuck that, bro. So I better run it up on my own. But to each its own. I ain't judging, no judging. I'm just saying my personal opinion from my personal experience. So you can do whatever the hell you feel like doing. Boss up. But let me see. What would be the next topic about starting a business, or how to start a business, or what a business starting a business involves? Let's talk about branding. Yeah, let's talk about branding. So, your brand is the face of your business, whether it's your logo, but at the same time, it's more than just a logo. It's the overall vibe of your business, like the voice of your business. You know what I mean? Like how people perceive your business, how people, soak up your business as a whole. When people think of your business, what do you want them to feel? Or what do you want them to see behind their eyelids when they think about your business? That's a good question as well. You know, and that's what a brand is, and that's why brands are very, very important. And that's why certain brands don't work with other brands, or don't work with certain influencers, or refuse to work with like certain people because they don't align with their brand. If they started working with these people, it might ruin the image of their brand, which could essentially ruin the whole company, right? So that's why brands are very important. Um, Obviously, like popular brands and their logos and stuff like that. So that's why that's important. And if they ruined their brand before they got popular, these wouldn't be the logos you think of first when you want to go buy a product, right? Um, Another great way to kind of start is by defining your brand identity. Speak like, if we're gonna talk about brands, let's talk about brand identity. So what are your values? What do you and your company stand for? Um, how are I guess you could say, like, how are you different from the ops, like the people you competing with in this industry? Them niggas is the ops, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with that being said, once you got that down, then that's when you create a logo, right? That's when you create a website, right? That's when you start building your online presence on social media, content marketing, SEO. If you don't know what SEO is, it's search engine optimization. Um, and then you can do things like email marketing, or like MailChimp or stuff like that, right? Where you have a list of emails, and you can send them like the same email, either inviting them to come check out your business, or giving them like a coupon to your business, or things of that nature. I know they still do this, but back in the older days, when email wasn't prominent, it would be mail marketing. So you would get a flyer in your mailbox that said, "Hey, we just did this, whoopty wopty whoopski, come check us out." You know what I'm saying? I'm the new big dick in the neighborhood. Come check it out. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of shit, right? Um, but those are all great ways to attract. Not only attract, because you don't just want to attract the customer, you want to keep the customer. Another good word for keeping is retaining. You want to retain the customer. You know. Um, so yeah. That's those are good points about branding your business. Very good points about branding your business. Okay. Now that we've gone over, like the big, like, picture, like, start shit, I want to give you some actionable tips, right? Some actionable tips that can help you kind of grow your business. Well, not grow your business, but get your business off the ground first. But not only get it off the ground, get it into the real world. Because that's important too. Like, you could own a business, but if it ain't out there bussing, like, if it ain't in people's faces, if if like going back to the t-shirt company, if nobody's rocking your t-shirts, bro, like not like what is we doing, bro? Like get it in the real world, and that's very, very, very important. Um, okay, let's see. I would say tip number one would be like start small and kind of test shit, kind of test shit out. Like test your ideas, test your products, test your service. See if you're even good at it. You know, tip number one would be shit. Start small, right? Start small and then test your ideas. You don't need to go all in from the jump, right? But you need to start with a minimum, like a minimum viable product. Let's call that the MVP, right? You need to start with a minimum viable product and test it with real people, like real ass human beings who are potential customers. This could be like a prototype. Like if you invent something, you have to have a prototype before you come out with the real thing and put it into the world. You have to have a prototype that you can test, run tests on, see if people rock with it, like it, use it the way that it's meant to be used for, if it will solve the problems that it's meant to solve, yada yada yada, right? This could be, like I said, a prototype. It could be a basic version of your services. And then after you get done doing like the prototype stage, or the real world stage, should we call it, collect feedback. Collect feedback. That's very important. Very important in this stage. Collect the feedback that you get from people. Then with that feedback, you take that feedback and you improve it based off of the feedback. And then after you improve this prototype, real world thing of your company, then you iterate it, right? Then you take whatever you learned and whatever you put back into the business, the product, the business, the service, whatever, and then you take that to the real world, right? You don't just jump out there head first and think you finna swim. You know what I'm saying? Because starting small, it kind of allows you to kind of minimize like the risk and shit, you know, and then you can get immediate feedback, of course, right? Think of it as like, think of it as like, of like learning, of like a, yeah, of like a learning phase, you know, kind of like learning how to ride a bike. It's just same shit. It's like a learning phase, because every failure is an opportunity to learn, you know, and then when you start learning shit, you improve that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, kind of just think of that real world phase as a learning phase. That's all it is. You know, before you take it into the actual real world, you have to learn a bunch of shit, improve a bunch of shit, and then use that to take into the actual real world. You know what I'm saying? But you still want real world tips and feedback and shit. Um, this is another big thing I just thought of. Um, Actually, a great thing, because I probably wouldn't have started my first business if I wasn't already around business owners, right? If I didn't already know young people who had businesses, if I didn't already know old people who had businesses, if I didn't already see street dudes jump out of the streets and get out of the streets and go completely legit with their own business, like use nothing but street money to go completely legit with their business, and now that there's no looking back, right? If I never saw that firsthand as a youngster, right, then I probably never started my first business. And it would have never led me on this journey of starting all these businesses, and just a beautiful fucking journey, man. So with that being said, tip number, I think we're on two. Tip number two, yeah, tip number two or three. Tip number two, fuck it. Tip number two is networking. I would say networking and learning from others. Learning from other people, man. Like, it's important, right? There's a whole community of entrepreneurs out there, and not just any entrepreneurs. These are entrepreneurs who have been where you are. You don't always got to try to figure everything out on your own. Like, join business groups, go to webinars, and don't be afraid to talk to people. I remember in one of these last streams, I said, like, talk to strangers, man. Like, you can learn a lot from strangers, especially older strangers. Especially older strangers. I don't care if you just outside taking a walk. I don't care if you just, and obviously if you a kid or some shit, don't take this advice. Don't fucking talk to fucking strangers. But if you a grown ass adult, man, go talk to a stranger sometime, man. You don't have a conversation, whether you waiting in line at the grocery store or whatever the case may be. Have a little conversation. You might learn some shit. And shit, who knows? They might learn some shit. You know, but like I said, you don't always gotta figure out everything on your own. And one of the major things is don't ever be afraid to ask somebody for help. If you know somebody may have the knowledge that you need, don't be. It's like being in school. Like, how the fuck is you gonna learn if you don't raise your hand? I wish somebody told me that shit when I was in school, because I'd have been like, uh. You know what I'm saying? 24/7, because I didn't know. I was like, man, fuck this shit, bro. When am I gonna use this? When am I gonna use this in the real life? Most schools, which is fucked up, that's a whole nother topic. Most schools don't even teach you shit like this. They don't talk about how to own a business. They don't talk about how to manage your money, how to make more money without working a 9 to 5. They don't talk about shit like that. So this is a one of a kind type of knowledge right here. And I wish they did so badly. I wish they did, but then where would the government be at if everybody was a business owner? Where would the government be at if everybody was balling? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all a game, but that's a whole other topic. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. But yeah, there's a lot of business groups and resources out there that you can use to your advantage. You just gotta kind of check your local listings, whether it's Craigslist, Eventbrite, Reddit. There's a lot of places you can actually check to see what's going on. Facebook. There's a lot of shit. A lot of places you can check to see where you can find people who are just like you, or who have done what you're trying to do, or are like-minded people. You know. But one thing I will tell you, like, the thing about business networking is, networking isn't just about finding customers. You know what I'm saying? It's also about finding mentors, collaborators, people who can teach you new shit. And really, honestly, I met a few celebrities in my lifetime. I met a couple people with a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? A lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that kind of stuck out to me was exactly that. Like, these people will tell you when they got their first decent amount of money, and they switched it up. They switched up their surroundings, they switched up their environment, they switched up the people they hung around. Right? Because if I'm a millionaire, why would I go hang around people who can't teach me new things to do with my money? Bigger and better ideas and things and all these different things. Like, it's not about like being fake or anything like that. Like, you can still rock with the homies. Like, you can still rock with your family, whoever the hell, you know what I'm saying? But go out there and chase real knowledge and give yourself the opportunity to make friends and partners and build relationships with people who have way more than you, who have seen way more than you, who have been where you're at right now. Whether it's you just got a bunch of new money, whatever the case may be. Whether you're just trying to start a business. Go hang with people who can teach you new shit. With that being said, I would say What would tip number three be on starting a business? Well, that's a good question, chat. What should tip number three be? Let's see. Um, tip number three. Tip number three, I would say, would be like, in my opinion, tip number three would be like stay consistent. For one, and so let's make it a double tip. Double, like, no homo. Let's make it a double tip, right? Stay consistent and be patient. Because, and I can't stress this enough, success don't happen overnight. It's a marathon, just like Nipsey Hussle said, not a sprint. And even when things get tough, you kind of just got to keep putting in the work. It's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to get distracted. I know a lot of niggas right now that have gotten distracted by women, gotten distracted by, drugs, gotten distracted by bullshit. And shit, lost everything they built. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be a stack of money or, something else they built. But regardless, even when shit gets tough, you got to keep putting in that work. It's easy to get distracted and shit, but what's the word I'm looking for? Persistence is the key to this shit. Keep, tweaking your product. Keep, refining your marketing. Keep learning from your mistakes. That's really important. Learning from your mistakes when it comes to this business shit. Um, so for this section of the stream, we covered a grip of shit, right? A whole handful of shit, two handfuls of shit. But so I'm gonna give you a quick little rundown, just in case you're just kind of like hopping in or whatever. Starting a business involves having a solid idea, doing market research, um, setting your business up legally, securing the funding for the business, and creating a strong brand. And of course, you need to stay consistent and patient as you grow with the business, right? Because that's the goal. Grow with the business. You don't want the business to outgrow you, and you don't want to outgrow the business. So um, with that being said, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. If you got any questions or if there's some shit I missed, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll be answering questions for the first or for the next little bit. What I am gonna do, and also if you're thinking about starting your own business, I'd love to hear about your idea too. Um, so if you have any questions for me, I'm gonna still be on live, but we're gonna go on an intermission real quick, and you already know how I get down. When I go on break, when I go on an intermission, and it won't be long, so move fast. Get your favorite snacks, get comfortable, get ready to kick back and relax and soak up some real life knowledge that could change your life. No kizzy catty cap. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, we'll be right back. Testing, testing. 1, 2. Testing, testing. 1, 2. And we're back just like that. So a quick little recap, right? Obviously, we covered a lot. But so what we spoke about in the first or second section before this break was starting a business involves having a solid idea, doing market research, setting up your business legally, securing funding for your business, and creating a strong business brand. That is what we talked about, and also staying consistent and patient as your business grows, right? Now, in this next section, I want to talk about why starting a business is not just a good idea, but something that could seriously and real talk improve your life immensely. Now, I know a lot of y'all might be thinking, is it really worth it? I mean, it's risky. Is it for me? And I'm here in this stream right now to break all that shit down and kind of show you why taking that step could be one of the best decisions you ever made in your life. It could. Real talk. Before we dive in, make sure to drop any questions in the chat as we go along. I kind of want this to be a conversation, not just a stream. So feel free to share your thoughts, ideas, any fears you might have about starting a business. Let's make this interactive. Let's make this more of a conversation. So, in my opinion, the first big reason why starting a business could change your life, freedom. I mean, we live in America. Well, I live in America, but I know there's a lot of other countries you can start a business in. But when I speak of America, when I speak of North America, freedom. It offers freedom. One of the most appealing parts of being an entrepreneur is that you in charge. You're your own boss. You get to make your own rules. And you get to pay yourself whatever you want. That's a big ass beauty about it. You get to pay yourself whatever you want. Think about it. Okay, so think about it like this. When you're your own boss, there's nobody telling you shit. They're not telling you when to clock in. They're not telling you when to take a break. They're not telling you when to stop working. You have the freedom to set your own schedule. If you want to take a day off in the middle of the week, it's all you, bro. You want to work late at night or on the weekends, that's all you. All of it, up to you. You get to decide how your time is spent, and that flexibility can lead to a much better work-life balance. And it can also lead to you being a lot happier with your life, period, outside of work. You get to spend more time with your kids, more time with your family, whatever. Your vacation is your vacation whenever the fuck you feel like taking it. There's just a lot of benefits to owning your own business. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen people own businesses and also work a 9-to-5 job to kind of get the business rolling. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's an investment within yourself. That's perfectly fine. And if And this isn't to like let's make one thing clear. This isn't to like talk shit about people who work a job or work a 9 to 5 or talk shit about working a 9 to 5 or people who are out there busting their ass every day doing what they know or what they're good at or what makes them happy or whatever the case may be. You know, because owning a business ain't for everybody. Being an entrepreneur ain't for everybody, and it ain't for the faint of heart. I'll tell you that much for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be up times, it's gonna be down times, and you better be ready for all that shit. Um, I say next up we talk about income, moolah, right? Skrilla. I'm saying let's talk about income. When you work for somebody else, you you get paid whatever they decide you're worth, which is kind of bullshit if you ask me. And then on top of that, like whether it and whatever your worth could be like a salary, it could be an hourly wage, it could be commission. You know what I mean? But when you start your own business, your earning potential is solely in your hands. Um, as a business, when you're as a business owner, right? Because technically I am a business owner, yada yada yada. As a business owner, there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling on your income or how much you can earn. Of course, starting a business isn't a get rich quick kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? You actually got to work. You actually got to build the business. But the more you put into the business, the more you can get out of the business. Whether you're running an online store, which I have owned before, whether you're running a service based business or even a content creation business, like streaming, right? The more value you provide, the more money you can make. And unlike a traditional job, you're not really limited to a fixed paycheck or an annual income or like annual raises. You know what I mean? Your growth is entirely up to you. Like it's all you. It's all your shit. You know. Um, and another reason why starting a business is like a life changing experience is personal growth. When you start your own business, you're kind of forced to wear a lot of different hats. Like you kind of forced to be a jack of all trades. You know. Um, so with that being said, you're gonna have to learn everything from marketing to sales to accounting to customer service, um, and shit. Depending on what type of business you're in, you're gonna have to learn negotiation, and that means you're constantly growing, improving, um, and shit, challenging yourself. You know. So think about who that will build you to be in the long run. You know, a lot of people don't think about that shit. I just think, oh shit, you're a business owner. Nah, motherfucker, I'm a goddamn motherfucking king, bitch. Like I'm a goddamn motherfucking mastermind. The fuck you talking about? This ain't just no. This is something I thought up in here and literally brought it out to life for y'all to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally a mastermind up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't not respect no shit like that. You know? Um, with that being said, and to add on to that, you'll gain experience in areas that you never really imagined you would ever need or you would ever even know about. For example, okay, one of the businesses I started was in finance, right? And when I started this business, I had zero experience in finance. So that means I had to learn. I had to learn about this business and this industry. And guess what? I became so much more confident in handling money, in budgeting, in in making financial decisions, you know, and so much other stuff that I can't even talk about because it's so like packed with so much other different things that I want to save those for a whole nother stream. But I had to learn, right? Um, and that personal growth extends beyond the business. You're beyond your business. The problem solving skills, the communication skills, the confidence you develop from owning a business will translate into so many other areas of your life. So many other areas. And one of the other cool things about owning a business is purpose, man. Like one of the most fulfilling aspects of starting a business is the impact you can have, right? Because you can literally take your profits and donate them, portion of them. You can use your business to fuel the rebuilding of your community. You can use your business to open up all kinds of events in your community, whether it's giveaways, whether it's toy drives, whether it's you know, I can't remember the word I'm looking for, but all kind of other things that you can do that can have an impact. You know, whether you're solving a problem for your community, whether you're creating a product that makes life easier for a certain demographic. Like, what if you create a product that makes life easier for homeless people or makes life easier for handicapped people, right? Um, and you can even inspire others. And when I say others, it mainly young people, youngsters, the kids, you know, the people who are impressionable, right? You can inspire them to take a leap. You know, you can inspire them to take a leap and start their own journey, whether that be owning a business or whatever. But owning a business can give you a sense of purpose and like a traditional, you know, a sense of purpose that a traditional job just can't. It just can't give you. You know, it just can't offer you, you know, that kind of purpose. Like, don't get me wrong, like you can work a 9 to 5 job and be very fulfilled, very happy, very just fucking fine. You know what I'm saying? But if you're the type of person who has a big spirit and you feel as though your spirit is way too big to do certain things with your life, or you want to tackle way more in life, and or maybe you want to die a legend. You know, I don't know what your motivation is for being a business owner, but um shit, maybe you just want to die a legend, you know. And I think, me personally, that's one of the reasons why I started the CloudyWingz brand, you know, just to create a legacy for myself, you know. So I can relate if that's what you're trying to do, most definitely. And again, this is like no hate, no, like I'm not judging people who work a job. I've worked jobs before, like it's nothing. Like plenty of people have used jobs to their advantage and actually used jobs to build businesses. Like I said before, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But and that's cool. Like working a job is fine. It's totally fine. Nothing wrong with this shit, man. And it's not for everybody. Working a job just isn't for everybody. It's just like there's kids right now who are told that they are ADD and ADHD, but maybe their spirit is just too big for what the fuck they doing. Maybe they're not ADD and ADHD. Maybe they have all this energy because they crave an adrenaline rush. Maybe you're looking at the next Travis Pastrana or the next jump out of a plane nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who chases that type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Those will probably be the people that are gonna be told, "Oh, you got ADD, ADHD." Nah, nigga, this shit just boring. Like I want to do some other shit. Like I'm fucking bored, bro. The only thing I look forward to is PE class, physical education, gym class. You know what I'm saying? It's the only fucking exercise, running around, whatever I get to do. And sports ain't doing it for me, man. I want to be on my own, busting some shit down. I want to be out here racing cars. You might be looking at the next F1 racer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so um, creating a business, creating a brand, and creating a legacy isn't for everybody. Everybody don't even give that much of a fuck. Everybody don't give a fuck that much of a fuck. And some people have different ideas of what building a legacy is. Some people build their legacy within comfort, in what is socially acceptable, like getting a 401k, getting insurance, and, trying to build something of that nature, whether it's having a trust fund for the kids or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's, kind of just building that job security or whatever. That might be somebody else's idea of a legacy, and there's people who they don't want to live normally. They don't want to be normal. They don't want to, chase what everybody else chased or has accomplished. They want to be the new nigga on the map. They want to be the new big, the new big dick in town. And those are the dreamers. Those are the people out here trying to be something more than what they see in the mirror every day. And so no matter what your reason is for owning a business, let that business speak for you. Make sure it's something that you really believe in, that you really rock with. And if you can also do that and, wake up every day excited to work on something you love, but not only something you love, but something that you built. Something that you built that started off as a dream or an idea. Like, when you start your own business, you get to do exactly what you're passionate about. And that can create a sense of fulfillment that's hard to find anywhere else, like some shit that you can't even replicate. And when you see people enjoying your product, your service, or your content, shit, it's like you've made a real difference in the world, and that's literally what it feels like. And that right there is the beginning to any great story, the beginning to any great legacy. So with that being said, I would say I think we're on part 4 or part 5, right? With that being said, another huge advantage of starting a business, would be the potential to build generational wealth. Now that's a big ass motherfucking topic, right? Because you're not just, if you're doing it right and you have the right ideas in place, you're not just building this business for yourself. At least I never was, right? You're attempting to lay the foundation for future generations of your family, your bloodline, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, whoever the fuck, right? Who shares your last name, who was married into your family, whatever the fuck, right? You are laying the foundation for future generations, whether it's through creating an asset that appreciates and builds value over time, or you're building a brand that becomes a household name, or you're setting up a company that can be passed down when you die. Entrepreneurship gives you the tools to create long-lasting wealth that you can put away while you're living here, right? You can go open 10 different bank accounts and only 2 of them are business accounts, and the rest are personal accounts or investment accounts, or use them for this, that, and the third, right? If you play your cards right. And then you can set up a trust fund to put your business into. And trust funds are a whole nother topic. But you can set up trust funds in crazy fucking ways. Like some shit where even after you die, you still a fucking magical genie blessing people. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust funds get crazy. But, it gives you the tools to create long-lasting, real-life wealth. Not just, one thing I hate is, one thing that's worse than A person who doesn't, a person who, okay, one thing that's worse than a person who, and there's nothing bad about being broke, right? As long as you're broke for a good reason and you're trying to get somewhere, right? Or maybe it's you got bills and kids and shit, right? There's nothing wrong with being broke, right? But as long as you don't want to stay there, you're not trying to stay there, and you're doing something to get out of that, right? But what's worse than being broke is being dumb with money. And a lot of people, and it's a lot of young people who are dumb with a little bit of money. Like they just got their little first taste of money and they don't even realize they dumb as fuck. But they think they're like, oh, I got this little money, that they're better than everybody else. Like, and they don't even realize how fucking stupid they are. That's worse than being in that stage where you're actually learning before you get it, what to do with it. And you're learning how you're building a character about yourself while you're struggling that'll teach you how to act when you have the money. And there's a lot of people who skip that step. So when they get the money, the fucking dumbasses. Like the real life piece of shit people. You know what I mean? And it's important to, if you're aiming to build long lasting wealth, because wealth is a lot different than just having money. Wealth is a lot different than just being rich. You know what I mean? Or just doing good. There's different levels of money, right? But if you're in this to create long lasting wealth, what you should do right now, I don't care what level you're in, pray. I don't care who you pray to. It could be your toilet, for all I care. Pray. And you may not believe in certain things that other people believe in, and that's perfectly fine. But whatever you believe in, pray to that, right? But pray for this. Don't just pray to get it, to get the money, to get rich, to get the successful. But pray that when you do get it, you are provided with the knowledge, the guidance, and the tools to keep it. And to also multiply it. Because anybody can have it. There's lottery winners who had it, but they ain't got it no more. Because they ain't know shit when they got it. They ain't know shit before they had it. But okay, I got a little bit too deep and we got a little bit off topic. Sorry. But okay, so if you're trying to build, real life wealth, right? And you're trying to grow your business, right? Think about companies like Apple, Microsoft, or shit, even smaller businesses that have been passed down through families. Shit like Walmart, shit like that. That's not smaller, but that is a business that was passed down through generations of their family. But these businesses create jobs, right? They continue to contribute to the economy, and they also provide wealth not just for the founder, but for their families and beyond. Think about stocks, for instance. Walmart, you can go buy Walmart stock right now, but if you bought Walmart stock in 1975 and you still got it right now, guess what? Walmart just provided you with wealth, right? When you build something meaningful, you're leaving a legacy that can impact people for generations. Straight up, man. And that could be you. That could be your company. That could be your business. You could be the next Wally World. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And I know. So like, all of this shit that I'm talking about, obviously, like, it sounds dope as fuck, right? Shit sounds dope as hell, my boy. But It sounds good, right? But there's one thing that holds a lot of people back from starting a business, and that's fear. That's being a scary ass hoe. You know what I'm talking about? Nah, bullshit, man. Fear of failure, which is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Failure is a real fucking thing. I've experienced it, and I'm sure you have too. With whatever, it could be with anything. But the fear of the unknown and the fear of making the wrong decisions within your company, and then it all fails, right? That's a real thing, and that really does fucking happen to people. I've had businesses fail. Hell yeah. I've had businesses do amazingly well. And when I say well, I don't just mean they were generating, they had kept, but profit wise, well, right? Um, but fear is normal. It's normal. Everybody feel that shit. I don't give a fuck who you is, man. Like, you can lie about it. You can act like you Billy Badass. You the biggest, baddest, toughest motherfucking businessman there ever was. But the difference between successful entrepreneurs and the people who don't even like start is that successful people don't let fear control them. Okay? They don't let fear control them. Starting a business is a challenge, right? But every challenge you face, if you're smart about it, it's an opportunity to not only learn but grow and become more resilient in what you're trying to do. Um, and there's this famous quote. I can't remember who. I can't remember. My back is killing me right now. This fucking chair. I need to get a new chair. But so there's this famous quote. Success. How's it go? Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. I'm going to repeat that. Success is not final. Fear is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. So let that mean to you whatever it may mean to you. But I'm pretty sure you get the gist of it. But if you can push through the fear and you can take the first step and keep moving forward after you take the first step of starting a business, I guarantee you're probably going to come out on the other side stronger and more capable than you ever really imagined. Like, and let's keep it real. How much longer are you gonna let fear of starting a business control your life, or fear of starting that side hustle that could possibly turn into a business, or fear of whatever it is that you want to do in your life, regardless of if it's starting a business, right? How much longer are you gonna let fear control your life? Like, fear doesn't cause death. It only stops life. Not straight up, man. Um, like you don't think it's time yet? You don't think it's time to go ahead and do that shit, or what are you gonna do? What are we gonna do? You're gonna just let it be in your head the whole fucking time until you die, and then you regret it. You're on your deathbed, and you're like, fuck, I should have did this. I should have did that. I should have did that. Nah, fuck that. Nigga, go live, man. Go fucking live. Go make mistakes, man. Go surprise yourself a couple times, nigga. Like, fuck that shit, man. Like, go try it. Go try it. Fuck it, man. Whatever the fuck it is, man. Go try the shit. If you thought about it, go try it, man. Shit, that's what living's about, man. Like, you don't want to be on your deathbed fucking regretting shit. Like, oh, I could have did this a long time ago, but I just never kept it going. Or I love doing this, but I just stopped because I listened to my parents, and now I'm unhappy within my job, and I'm sitting in this cubicle, and I fucking hate my life, and I hate myself, and I'm ready to kill myself. And all those other different, like, nah, fuck that, bro. Man, go do it. Go be it, man. If you can imagine that shit, nigga, you can do it, bro. Like, straight, I don't give a fuck what it is, man. That's how I see life, man. Like, I don't give a fuck what it is. If I want to do it, I'm doing it, bro. I'm gonna try it at least once. If that's what I want to do, I'm gonna do it. You know, and it's fulfilling, man. Even the failures, bro. Even the failures, man. I remember my pops had this kind of like saying growing up, and it was let him scrape his knee, but don't let him break his leg. You know, and he would tell my mom that. You know, and I think it's important to live by that. For real, for real. You know, go scrape your knee a few times, man. You know. But anyway, um, starting a business obviously isn't about like just making money and shit or being your own boss. You know, those are like the cliche things that people say about it and the reasons they do it and all this other cliche ass bullshit. But on some real shit, it's about taking control of your life. Straight up. To me anyway, it's about taking control of your life. It's about having the freedom to work on your terms. Uh, it's about being in charge of your income. It's about not having to listen to somebody else's authority over you or giving time out of your life, trading time out of your life for money. Um, there's just a lot of good reasons. You know, it's about growing as a person, making an impact, and it's also about leaving a legacy. You know, um, so I'm kind of curious now. You know, after this live stream, I'm kind of curious. Do you think that starting a business is worth it? 100%. Yes, it's hard work. Yes, it's a risk. Yes, you'll face challenges along the way, but the rewards, the personal growth, the freedom, the impact, the potential to change your life are absolutely fucking worth it. Straight like that. Absolutely fucking worth it. Um, and I kind of want to hear from y'all. You know, like even if the chat isn't open by the time you watch this, come holler at me in the DMs, man. Come holler at me, shit. I don't know, shit. Come holler at me on social media. Come leave a comment on under my YouTube video. You know, are any of y'all thinking about starting a business? Or maybe you already have one. Maybe I can learn some stuff from you. Maybe we in the same boat, right? I just want to know. Drop your thoughts or your questions in the chat. And shit, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. Let's chop him up. You know what I'm saying? And I'll answer questions in any DM too. Like if you have questions about anything, or if you kind of just want to share your story or whatever, man, feel free to, man. I'm all for it. You know. So, all right, everybody. That is a wrap for today's stream. I just want to say I appreciate y'all coming to hang out with your boy. You know what I'm saying? Coming to rock with me, coming to chill with me, and talking about entrepreneurship with me. And I hope you found this stream to be helpful. I really hope the stream helped you. You know, I really hope it motivated you first and foremost to kind of take that next step, no matter where you are at. And I also want you to remember that your future is literally in your hands. And if you take control of your future right now, you can literally create the life you always wanted. You can, and it's true, and it's possible. And shit, I'll be back next time with some more tips, you know, stories, motivation, the whole nine, on various different topics. But until then, please, man, please stay focused, stay fearless, and shit. Keep grinding. Keep grinding. And if you're starting a business or you're planning to, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I wish you nothing but the best. Like, keep hustling, bro. Like, and don't be afraid to ask anybody for help along the way. My name is CloudyWingz, and that's the stream for the night, man. I love y'all niggas, man. Peace.